was subacute, meaning it was minor. For those of you that don't know what a subdural hematoma is, it's a brain bleed. I just want to shed some light on it, share my experience and see if there's anyone that can relate to it, or if there's any people going through that right now. I really know how difficult it can be. I'm still dealing with symptoms to this day, and it's been more than half a year since it happened, and I know how devastating it can be to your mental health and just to your regular activities that you're used to, and your normal life that you're used to. There's a new normal that you have to get accustomed to. So without further ado, let me go ahead and just explain, I guess, how this happened. I won't go really into details, but I'll just tell you guys that I guess I won't tell you guys the story, but I'll tell you what it's been like since the injury. So I suffered a brain injury in January. For the first week, I didn't even go get checked out. I was just dealing with a lot of pain in my head, lots of pressure, like if you can imagine blowing up a balloon, and I don't know if you've ever blown a balloon up to the point where it's going to burst because the material just can't withstand a certain amount of air inside it. So that is what my head felt like. It felt like a balloon that was just ready to pop with one more breath of air being flushed into it. It was really painful and uncomfortable. So for the first week, I didn't do nothing. I just coped with it because I thought I just thought it was an injury that I could get over. I never thought that I would deal with something so severe. So a week later, I go get checked out. I go to the ER, and I just did like a small little concussion assessment. The doctor told me, they did some very basic tests, some balancing tests. They wanted me to stand on one foot, put my arms out straight while I stand on 2 feet, and then they pushed me, gave me a little nudge to see how my balance was. They checked my vision, but nothing too intense. It was just kind of like follow my finger. If you were to feel nauseous from following the finger, the movement up, down, side to side, I guess it'd be more severe. So after that, they asked me if I had any hearing issues, vision issues, balance issues, memory issues, coordination issues, and for the most part, I checked pretty clear for them. I was sensitive to light, and my ears were sensitive to noise. Like closing a door, depending on how aggressively it hurt. It actually hurt. It's a strange feeling that when somebody closes the door, you're feeling some kind of discomfort and pain. Something that I wasn't used to. And so after a week went by, I did that first assessment. I went home, I was feeling alright. The doctors told me, just take Advil, you'll be fine. was so intense still. I had the pains I was feeling was so excruciating. They were shooting throughout my head, and they spread like a web, like a lightning bolt, if you can picture that, throughout my head. So it would shoot up, down, inside, and side to side. Like, it was just so painful. And not to mention my temples. So both on the right and left side, they were constantly throbbing. Just throbbing. And not the kind where you jam your finger and your finger throbs, but like, they were throbbing to the point where I was feeling the pain. I don't know, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it was very painful. With every throb, I felt like almost like a striking point of pain. It was pretty sharp. So here I am into the second week, still dealing with these severe pains, and I decided to I was talking to my friend who's trying to get into med school, and he told me, look man, if you're feeling any type of discomfort in your head, don't play games. Go get yourself checked out, because you never know. And as soon as we had that conversation, I started to sweat because I was nervous. I didn't know how severe this was. So I finally went to the ER again, and this time I requested to get a CT scan. The same night, actually, it was midnight when I went to go get a CT scan. I was admitted into the room around. So from the ER, I drove to our main hospital. I was admitted into the CAT scan room within like 20 minutes of getting there. I did my CT scan, and they found that there was some minor blood underneath the dura. So the dura is this thin layer that protects your brain. And when blood gets underneath the dura, that's why it's called a subdural hematoma, because the sub represents underneath the dura. And so I remember sitting there in the bed when the doctor told me, you have a subacute subdural hematoma, which is subacute meaning minor. And from that point, when he told me, I had to wait an hour till the radiologist came to speak to me about any further treatments, and just about to provide more information about the injury itself. So there I was sitting, and I was just panicking. I thought, I googled what a subdural hematoma is, and it showed that it's a brain bleed. So automatically my heart kind of started to jump. I was scared. I thought that, this might be the point where I actually might lose my life. It sounds silly, and it's weird to think about, that might be your reality, and, you might, and at this point, nobody in my family knew either, because I didn't want to tell them about the injury. So there I was sitting in the hospital thinking that, this might be my time. On Google it said, I believe, I could be wrong, but if you guys can Google it, it said, I think 1 in 10 people that receive treatment for a subdural hematoma end up passing away. So after reading that, my eyes welled up, and I was really nervous. So finally the doctor came in, and the radiologist came in, and he explained to me how this happens, and I guess the likelihood of dying, and whether or not I needed treatment. He told me mine was minor enough that I didn't even need a CT scan, which was good news. But he said a seizure was still possible, and he said within 3 weeks I would be alright. So there was a lot of pressure taken off of my mental and off my shoulders. So, but around like 6:30, I pains, so he mentioned within 3 weeks they would go away. The pains did not go away for about, at least the severe pains didn't go away for about 3 months. Now, I'm still currently dealing with the symptoms of pressure, although it has reduced. I'm still dealing with some pressure on the top of my head and sometimes in the back of my head. I'm dealing with tinnitus. Tinnitus is one of the most discomforting feelings that you can ever have. Imagine, I don't know if you guys ever played Call of Duty, but imagine a stun grenade. You know when you throw a stun grenade and there's that super high frequency for a couple of seconds? Now imagine that super high frequency inside of your head, non-stop. Non-stop. There's no breaks. And now you have to sleep with this. You have to eat with this. You have to live with this. There's no, there's no black and white treatment. There's no definitive answer on how to fix tinnitus. There's just coping mechanisms, and it's difficult to adjust to this new normal, to make this a new standard of yours. So I've been going to therapy. I've been going to occupational therapy to deal with tinnitus. I've had I went to another concussion assessment, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm thinking of going to a group session, like a men's group, to get together with people and just talk about, people that went through similar traumatic experiences and how they're dealing with their symptoms and their injuries and how they cope, and whether or not, I'd like to know whether or not any of these symptoms went away completely, and if so, in what time frame. Excuse me. It's really debilitating to put your life on hold. You see, one of the sad things is that you see your friends and everybody's lives are moving forward. And, I used to feel inertia. The feeling of inertia, like I'm just staying still, but everything is moving forward around me. Everything is progressing except me. And now, after this injury, it just, like, tenfolded, But yeah. So that's what I'm dealing with right now. So I guess the symptoms that I dealt with were, I definitely suffered a concussion. So I was dealing with post-concussion symptoms. I was dealing with a lot of pressure in my head. Also, I was dealing with chronic headaches. I was dealing with that with my temples. I guess that's part of the head, but I was dealing with my temples throbbing, shooting pains. One of the crazy things is that for the first 2 weeks, no, not even 2 weeks, for the first almost 2 months, I couldn't sleep laying down. When I'd put my head down, even on a pillow, something soft, it felt like my head was filling up with concrete. It just felt like it was getting heavy and hard, and the pressure was just building. It was, imagine, okay, so picture yourself pushing on a wall, alright, you're pushing hard, and you're trying to break through that wall, and you can finally feel that wall start to give. You feel that slightly less resistance. Okay? Now you're pushing so hard with all your strength. Now imagine if that was inside your head, trying to get out. Something just pushing against your inner wall, your inner head, trying to get out of your head. That's what the pressure feels like. also dealt with, and then tinnitus came in, the ringing. I didn't, because of how severe the pains were, I didn't notice the tinnitus for the first roughly 2-3 weeks. And then when, I don't know, it's not like the pain resided, but it's almost like I just coped with it better. I noticed the ringing kicked in within like 2-3 weeks later, and yeah, that's been non-stop, and that's such a buzzkill. Like, it really, really sucks. The hardest thing, at the start, it was an insane frequency. It was so loud. Hold on, let me just see if the recording session timed out. I got 3 minutes left. Let's see. 3 right now. Okay. 3 minutes on the dot. Yeah, I remember I was sitting up sleeping. I couldn't lay down. I was scared to go into a deep sleep because I was worried I might not wake up, and because my parents didn't know I was dealing with this, I had an alarm set actually for every hour. So that's how I was sleeping for about 3 weeks, up until I told my parents what happened. The reason I decided to tell them what happened was because in case I passed away, I want them to know the truth. I want them to know what their son was dealing with, and what happened. Maybe one day I'll come back here and I'll explain what caused this injury. That could be another video. So yeah, that's what I was dealing with. And so the tinnitus, I was saying, at the start, it was an insane frequency. Like imagine that stun grenade, on Call of Duty, or imagine like your nails running across a chalkboard. That high pitched squeal. That in your head. Okay, I'm just trying to think of things that you guys can picture or you guys can imagine. So you can imagine what tinnitus sounds like, at least for me at the time. So I'm about 8 months into my recovery, and the tinnitus did not clear yet, although it did get a little bit easier to deal with. It's not as loud, but it's still there. I can drown it out now with some noises, like either a some white noises, so like fan or vacuum, or fire crackling. I use this app that has different noises, like it simulates a car driving, or a fan, or just some white noise, or train tracks, like I mentioned, a fire crackling. What else did it? The wind blowing, simulates rain, rain against the window. So there are some noises that you can use. So there are some noises you can use for yourself to help cope with this tinnitus. So I don't know if anyone that's watching has tinnitus, and if you do, I'm curious to know what you do to deal with it, to cope with it, and if it's actually went away for you. So if you have any tips, please just put the comments below. Another thing I'm using for tinnitus is this herbal medicine it's a pill called ear tone. So it has, the ingredients are magnesium, but it's magnesium oxide. There is pine bark, and there's one more ingredient that's supposed to help basically provide circulation throughout your ears to help the blood flow and try and repair the hair cells that got damaged. So I guess, look, I'm not an expert, but I'm just gonna kind of explain. I might mess this up a little, but just to give you an idea of why tinnitus happens. So I think it happens within your ear, in your cochlea. So the cochlea gets somewhat, maybe not damaged, but it gets disturbed, let's say, and there are hair cells, tiny hair cells within your ear around the cochlea, or is it in the cochlea? I'm not too sure. And it's these hair cells that become damaged, and it's something to do with those hair cells not picking up on noises, so it can't send, I guess it can't receive, I guess it can't really receive the noise that well, or that it just doesn't, I guess, translate the sounds to your ear that you want to be hearing. So those hair cells, because they're damaged, provide that ringing noise. I think I totally butchered that. I feel like I should know more about this, but I'm just gonna tell you guys what I'm dealing with, and I'm sorry for butchering that explanation. That was brutal. So yeah, I'm using these ear tone pills. I've been on and off on them because, you know, the marketing on them says that they are there, they help reduce the perception of tinnitus. Now, reduce the perception of tinnitus, that is a little gimmicky to me. Because what exactly is perception of tinnitus? It's either you help with tinnitus or you do not. When you're helping with the perception of tinnitus, it kind of, you know, you're not painting a clear picture with what exactly it does. So, but at this point I'm trying to do everything I can. So another thing I'm using for tinnitus is this app. So the first app actually I mentioned, the one that simulates all those sounds, like the car sounds, fireplace, rain, and so on. It's called Relaxio. Relax-E-O. But it's spelled Relax-I-O. So Relaxio, go check it out. It's a free app. You can download it. You know, even if you don't have tinnitus and you need that white noise, and you never bought a white noise machine, or if you don't have a fan in your house, excuse me, it's a nice app. It you know, helps provide that white noise if you need it to help sleep, or just watch ASMR videos. It's kind of what I do. I dabble back and forth, I guess. So another app that my occupational therapist suggested for me was to use, it's called Whistle. I believe it's called Whistle. Let me see for it quickly. Sorry, Whist Tinnitus. So that's WHIST tinnitus. I'm not going to spell tinnitus for you. Not that I can't, it's just, you'll figure it out. So yeah, what Wiz does, it's supposed to simulate the sound of the ringing inside your head, but basically externally, so through your phone. And it's supposed to help you cope with your tinnitus, because it helps mimic that same sound, and it helps you adjust to it. It helps you, I feel like the more you're exposed to something, the more you get used to it, right? That's with anything. And so I guess what this is trying to do is expose you to this ringing, but not from within your head, but from the outside. And due to that, it's gonna help you, deal with tinnitus, I guess. Has it helped me? I mean, somewhat. It's nice. So what you do with the app is you set up the volume of the noise. You either use a tone, or you set up between a tone or a noise. The noise is more like a white noise, like a ruffle, whereas the tone, it's like a screeching sound, right? Like that high pitch that I'm trying to explain to you guys from earlier. And so what you do, so I always use the tone because that's what my tinnitus sounds like. It's like a high pitch frequency. And so with this app, you basically set up your own frequency to mimic the one inside your head, and then you can let it play non-stop. You can have pauses in between, and you can adjust the length of the pauses, so you can have that tone run for about, let's say, 10 seconds, and then it stops for 10 seconds, and then it runs on, and then it turns on again for 10 seconds, and then it stops for 10 seconds, or you can just have it non-stop. You can also, some people have tinnitus louder in one ear than the other. Like for me, it's like 80-20, or no, not 80-20, it's like 60-40 to my left and right. So my left ear is a little louder tinnitus than my right. And you can adjust that balance in the app, so you can adjust it to produce more of a sound in your left ear or your right ear, or you can just balance it equally. They recommend you use headphones for that app as well, because it just triggers it better, I guess. I tried without headphones, and it's not bad that way either. So either way you use it, it can be pretty helpful, I guess. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. So dealing with tinnitus and these headaches and pressure, feelings of pressure still. So this has kind of limited me with the amount of things I was able to do. Within my first few months, I'd say within my first 2 months, I couldn't read, I couldn't watch TV, I couldn't exercise, I couldn't, no video games, I couldn't listen to music. It was stressful. I really couldn't do anything. My doctor advised me not to even think. I don't know how a person goes throughout their day without having any thoughts. How do you not think? And especially for 2 months. So, I failed at that. I couldn't not think. So my head was constantly hurting. My doctor told me that even something as simple as doing math, like basic addition equations, would cause pain. So I did my best not to think, but come on, I really don't know how you go throughout your day without having any thoughts. So yeah, I couldn't do anything. it was honestly the hardest time in my life, and this has probably been the worst year of my life. So, for about 2 months I couldn't do anything, and then it was roughly around March when I started watching a little bit of TV, about 2 hours a day. I was able to do some reading, although it still hurt, especially around the temple area. Like there was just this like striking pain. I couldn't believe, the shit that you go through when the way your body responds to these internal injuries. It's amazing, especially if you try to stimulate your brain when it's injured. I couldn't believe that there was that connection to pain. It was very, very debilitating, as I mentioned. So, I think it was around like the 4th month where I tried to start, I started going for walks. But, even that kind of caused some pain, and towards the end of the walk when I got, back into my car and got home, I'd feel pressure around like my sinus area, the back of my head and the top of my head, and then it kind of like rotated throughout my head. It wasn't a fun time, to say the least. So there I am with this pain. So around I think it was around June when I started to go to the gym, but I did not do any heavy workouts. I was definitely not back to my old form, just not even close. I was lifting like 5-pound weights, 10-pound weights, instead of lifting like 30s, 40s, 50s, depending on what I'm doing. I was just sticking to like these baby weights and some cables, and I did that till about, from June until about mid-July, and then I stopped because I was getting headaches from it. I was just trying to push through. I realized that the brain is a muscle, and with any muscle, I tried to think of it this way, just like with any muscle, if you don't use it, not that you lose it, but I was worried about atrophy in a way. I was worried about my brain not developing properly if I took this much time off without using it, without pushing it. Just like your muscles, if you sat or lay down for about a year without any exercise, just how bad a shape your muscles will get, and probably not to the point where it like render you incapable of walking or anything like that, but I just had that worry, and also having social pressures from friends, telling you to do this and do that because they know best when you're going through something, which they don't. So there was always those pressures too, and so I tried to push myself. I tried to get back into some kind of rhythm, but about a month and a half in, it was mid-July where I stopped because I was getting pressure. I was just feeling pressure in my head every time I left the gym, and it was so uncomfortable that I didn't think it felt natural. So that's why I stopped, and now here I am. We're in August. It's been a month and just almost 2 weeks since I've stopped the gym, and it sucks. It really sucks, to not be able to again do anything. It's like I feel like I'm regressing. And I have a neurologist appointment in October, so I'm hoping to get a lot of clarity through that, and I'm even hoping by October I can make a full recovery, and maybe my tinnitus will stop. Who knows? I had 3 different opinions from doctors about my tinnitus. One told me that it should go away within 4 months tops. He said, "Don't worry, you're young, 4 months tops." my second doctor that I saw was more reliable. She told me that. She told me it might never go away. So that's something that's becoming more of a reality. And at the time when I heard it, it was hard to, it was hard to take in, hard to comprehend. I can't imagine living with this for the rest of my life. And now it seems like something that I might have to, I might have to deal with. The third doctor told me around the 6th month, it should stop. So, that's what I'm dealing with right now. I don't know, this really wasn't the best of explanation or best of story time. I understand that I was kind of all over the place with it. I never came in with any prep. I just wanted to finally make a video again and I guess just shed some light on any, this subdural hematoma, or at least subacute in my case. There's not enough of these videos out on YouTube, and when I was going through my injury, I always wanted to know how people felt or how anyone was dealing with it, and Reddit was kind of helpful, but no, not enough out there, so I thought, why not put this video out? If anyone's dealing with it, maybe they can watch it, listen to it, relate, just put more awareness out there for people that are going through this, and just to tell you that stay strong. I can't tell you how many times I've cried because of this setback, because of the pain, because of this heavy feeling of inertia. It's a lot to go through, especially when you have social pressures and you have physical pressures, and there's so many factors that play into this, and I just want to put it out there again, guys. For anybody dealing with this, just stay strong, stay focused. Try and visualize. Try and visualize the goal line. I know that sounds cheesy, but if you can visualize the goal line, it'll give you a good, a good idea of where you're headed, instead of being in the dark and not knowing your path. Try and accept what you're going through, and understand that there's people that just won't understand, okay? Some people just won't understand, and that's okay. So, I hope you guys stay strong. I hope this video helped in any kind of way. I apologize if it wasn't, as coordinated or prepared as it should have been, as I should have been, but it's been over a month since I put up my last video, and it's been too long, and so I'd rather put out some content, and even though if it's a little all over the place, I'd rather put out some content and have you guys, something to listen to, something to look forward to, and provide you and give you some insight, to what it's like dealing with the symptoms that come with a brain injury, specifically one that had a brain bleed. So to you guys, I say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm grateful to any of the views I get, really. I'm humbled, by anybody that watches this. I'm just coping with it like you guys, just like with any of the shit we're going through. And pardon my French. So, again, thank you guys. And if you have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to send me a message, and we can talk about this. This is not taboo for me. I feel like we should talk about this more. Talk about experiences, that's how we help others, by providing some kind of experiences and some kind of guidance, something people can relate to, and just to know you're not alone. The hardest thing about going through things like this is doing it alone, and I learned that in my first 2 weeks. So, thank you, and I hope you have a good night.